the iPad announcement from this week, and the most glaring omission from Apple's iPad announcement was no support for Flash in the Safari browser on the iPad.
None whatsoever.
Now I've read a lot of techno files and people who are techno snobs on the internet who do not necessarily like Flash. Jeff and I have battled these guys for a long time. Being in working in the IT industry, we've battled people who don't understand or don't like Flash for one reason or another for at least a decade. And this stuff came up again when Apple announced the iPad, because the iPad does not have Flash support, in the browser. And a lot of people are talking about how it's great that doesn't have Flash support. Maybe it'll bury Flash. Well, it's not going to do that. But what we're interested in is why Apple would not have Flash support, especially for a full-page browser.
Yeah. That's very odd, actually.
Now, some people talk about how Flash isn't performant on the Mac, but this isn't the Mac. I mean, to be honest, the iPod and the iPhone and the iPad don't run on Mac hardware or a Mac OS. It's completely new and different. So that doesn't hold any water that it couldn't be performed or they couldn't make a new one. Another argument is that Apple doesn't want applications to run that don't come from the App Store. Well, we are here today to show Apple, like they would listen to us, that that's an idiotic argument.
Right.
And we will show you why.
There are applications all over the place that
are going to run.
Right. Games that'll run.
And it's because of the thing that's on the screen right now. This is the canvas element of HTML5. We wrote a couple blog entries about this week, but we want to explain that with the canvas element in HTML5, people are going to write games and applications anyway.
And they already are.
And there already are.
Ironically, who created the canvas element?
Apple created the canvas element. Apple created it for Safari, and they've got it as part of the HTML5 spec. So ironically, Apple has created a way to make applications in the web browser which will actually bypass their app store.
Yes. So what we want to do today is take a look at some games and other applications, or maybe mostly games, and they're all relatively simple. This is sort of early Flash games that
are using the canvas element in HTML5.
And it's interesting to note that these are just things people are playing with. They haven't had much time to do. They're throwing them up. Same stuff that happened with Flash early on.
Right. It's just like I always see, relative Flash development. But the point of this is not to show that the canvas element is better than Flash. It's to show Apple that people are going to make applications anyway. So you might as well allow Flash. So let's go and show some, okay? So check this one out. Okay.
Play Canvas Invaders.
So you'll see that this is
basically
sound, Space Invaders. Now, one thing you'll notice that there isn't any sound yet. And I guess that's because there's no real sound support in HTML except for embedding sounds, which you could do, and
that we're going to take a look at in a second. There's another world. No sound. It's running at, looks to me down here. It ranges between 30 to 50 frames a second. I'm not quite sure if it runs. I think it's just a demo. Sorry about that. It's just a demo. They obviously don't have a stage.focus equals this. Because watch. Okay. And this is actually, interesting note, this was an Atari ST, Apple IIe, Apple GS, 2GS, and Amiga DOS game.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of these HTML5
so anyway, we
games
can move.
using the canvas element.
I'm not quite sure what we do here. It's okay.
A lot of these games are ports of other people's games.
NES emulator. How about that?
JavaScript NES emulator.
Let's see some NES emulator. So basically, your iPhone now can compete with all of the iPhone store just by selecting a ROM like Contra, enabling sound, and playing
this looks like it's Java though, isn't it?
It's JNES emulator. To me,
it's a Java. I'm sorry, it's JavaScript. JavaScript. So no, it's
JavaScript NES emulator.
So and this is it's
running at 4 frames a second.
Slow.
So, but it's Contra. It's coming up on the screen. But and it's just some sort of sound, I guess. But it's you have to hit it. when it gets there, so we won't wait for the whole thing. But this is just show it's slow.
But
this is not a flash killer by any stretch of the imagination. Let's not go there. But
you can run applications.
You can run applications. So this is Apple's not stopping people from running applications. Now it's not the greatest application in the world. Here is the platform game, and I think just click on it here. Play. And there's not a lot of sound here.
Again,
it's not the greatest platform game in the world. It's actually,
but it does have parallax scrolling.
And I actually want to show the code to this in a second, if possible.
That's what you want to see.
It's a halfway decent little game, parallax scrolling. I know there's a guy that made Super Mario Brothers in the browser already that's done this. And I don't know if it's made with the canvas or not, but realistically,
this
is better.
With the canvas.
This is basically, it's a halfway decent scrolling game engine, platform game engine, written just in HTML in the browser. So,
right. So let's view the code.
View source. If
Page source.
Apple's trying to stop people from writing applications, you're going to be Here it is.
It's JavaScript, so it's going to look really familiar.
Here are the levels.
Yeah. Look familiar to
ActionScript
developers because it's
very similar. The image handling is different. Libraries are different.
Yeah, there's going to be things that are different, and obviously the canvas itself is going to be
syntax is the same.
But it's a bitmap canvas.
It's a bitmap canvas basically. So here's the levels. So
I mean, a huge drawback to this is that you can see all the code in the browser. There's other drawbacks. Again, the sound and stuff like that, and it's some of the same things that Silverlight struggled with when it first came out, having the code in the browser and sound not working. But our point is not that the canvas is anyway a flash killer. Again, we say that. Our point is that Apple can't claim that they want to control applications in the browser if they allow HTML5 to run in Safari on any of their platforms. Because basically you'll be able to make games with this.
Here's all the pixel manipulation things. So basically anyone who's used to blitting data to the screen can use dirty recs to blit. I mean, we're talking about games. This is game making stuff. This is not Apple's not stopping people from making games.
And don't forget, Apple created this.
And Apple created it.
So Apple created this. They put it in the Safari browser, and people are going to be able to make apps with it.
So why not have Flash also?
So why not have Flash? That's all we're saying. And you can't. You cannot make the argument that they're trying to control applications in the App Store if they allow this to go on in the web browser.
It's very, very odd that they would have this sort of referendum against Flash on all their platforms. Very strange. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Flash, and I think most people, when they don't like Flash, they don't like these full Flash sites that are just for like a movie or something like that. I kind of hate those sites too. They pay the bills sometimes though. But games and applications, I mean, it's just a plug-in and a piece of the screen you're using. Why do people not like it? I don't understand. It's not any different than Java or Silverlight. It's just a piece of the screen, a little square or a rectangle.
The other thing
that's got an application running in it.
The massive amount of knowledge and intellectual property and tutorials and books that exist to build things. Just you can't overlook that.